Good morning. We're up here at Soul Perfection Shoe Store in Shoreline. This place is amazing, and it's mostly amazing because of this wonderful man over here, Jason, who's been running this place. It's springtime, and why don't you bring us up to speed here on what's coming out this spring?
Yeah, as we get out there and we travel, important things. You always want to be comfortable. Everybody's worried about fashion, but your journey gets ruined if your feet hurt. So you got to balance it out. So a few key things that you look for. We'll start off with some shoes here. The main thing is comfort. You want them to fit well, good toe box, all around just overall fit. The other thing you need to look for is if you have your own custom orthotics, like maybe one of your patients has an orthotic you've made, you need to be able to fit that in the shoe. If not, you don't have an arch support or anything, you want a shoe that comes with good arch support and also supports the foot all around. Easy to adjust because as we travel, our feet swell. So even if it's a sandal, again, you want some adjustability. Even the straps you rarely adjust, it's nice if you can adjust them because you're in Italy, it's hot, good food. Our feet swell a little bit, so adjustability helps, but also just maintaining the right amount of comfort. Now, lots of times when we're talking about shoes, people think soft is good because if our feet hurt, you just go nice and soft, but you need stability. That's why people get arch supports and orthotics, because without stability, the foot kind of tires. So you definitely want a good arch support, even maybe a little metatarsal pad. And then you also want something that's sturdy, flexes properly, and is a sturdy sandal. You don't want a sandal or a shoe that you can just curl up or twist up into a ball. It needs to be sturdy. It needs to have some structure to it because that helps your foot not have to do all the work.
What have they done to make that ball, that foot comfortable in some of these sandals for shock absorption and so on?
Yes, so I don't have the same fatty pad I used to have. I can't run around barefoot anymore, so I totally relate to that. I've got to have more cushion. But like I said earlier, it's not all about cushion, you got to have some structure. So there's a lot of European, this is a company out of England. You've heard of Birkenstock, things like that, tend to be pretty firm. But what those shoes have is they have a very high arch. They might even have a metatarsal arch. They just truly support the foot. And so when you get that natural support, your foot will relax and do its natural job. But it is nice to have a little extra cushion. So it's balancing those two things out. These shoes are a company out of England, Strive, a pretty young company, but they offer great arch support, metatarsal support. And that, even though they're not the most cushioned, can allow the foot to be supported and relax and move properly. But for people like me and others where we just don't have the same cushion, that's where maybe you go to something with a memory foam over that support. Just enough cushion. And so you got to try different sandals on, make sure they adjust, make sure they fit, and they have the right amount of cushion to support.
Well, that's interesting because as you're holding it, I see the brand name on that is Dansko. And of course, we associate Dansko with the rigid wood clogs and things they were years ago. So this is a step forward. It looks like here's a good firm cork bed in the arch, yet you said they then put the memory foam over the top.
Yes, yeah, Dansko is really branching out to be more than just a clog company. As you can see, sandals, lace-up shoes, but it comes with, look at that insole in there.
That's substantial. Both firm, but it's also shock absorbing.
Yep, slip resistant for cobblestones, great little everyday kick around, but you can dress it up. Doesn't look like a tennis shoe. So something like this is very popular. And these are the type of things you need because you can only carry so much. And so you need something you can dress up a little bit, but be comfortable all day in.
If you're also going to be doing a little bit more than just flat surfaces, and some of the time you're traveling, you're going to maybe not hiking, but need something just a touch more than this. Where are you going to go next outside of the casual dress wear?
So there's sort of the in-between, things like this that are water resistant, a little more rugged. This is a shoe by Allegria. It's got their liquid shell technology, so it protects you from the rain. Comes with a really good built-in arch support, slip resistant. You can also go to things like Merrell, a little more hiker type, just depends on what you want to wear. But otherwise, let's go over here, which is another category that a lot of people like and take on their trips. Lots of people when they travel, they want to be comfortable, so they think of athletic shoes. It maximizes the cushion, the support. Plus, if they've had any surgery or any foot condition, a lot of doctors recommend athletic shoes. They're obviously not as dressy as the other ones, so it's just balancing that out, but they bring a lot of comfort. Something new is this company, Mount to Coast. It is a very young company. We just got it in, but super supportive. It has a lot of technology that just guides the foot, a nice roomy toe box. I'm kind of excited about this brand. It's been a really good one in the month or two we've had it, but great support. Again, you want that lateral support with the right amount of cushion.
What's nice here in these two models I'm looking at is you got a solid light gray and a solid black. So if you're trying not to look like you've got all these colors and names all over the shoe,
yes,
they keep it to a minimum, and you can really still be a little
fashionable. Yes.
Fashionable.
No, you bring up a good point, because sometimes they get kind of wild. Not too many people want to travel Europe in that, but they want the comfort.
How would you differentiate this with all these companies going to the thick foam?
Yes.
From your Mount to Coast to the Hoka? What would you say an advantage might be?
Okay, well, that's a great question, because a lot of people ask, what's the best shoe? They both have advantages, but the difference between these two, Hoka is known for being, thicker, lightweight, very cushioned kind of feel. This one, it's toned down. It's not as thick, but the cushion, the durometer of the cushion is kind of made in a way to where you maintain that support. And it still is a running shoe. It's still very running, walking. Don't let running throw you off. Even most people buy running shoes to walk in because they offer the support. But most doctors recommend running shoes for that.
Hokas leave me up. I feel a little bit unbalanced.
Yes.
You're going to be a little lower down on the ground.
Yes, and especially for anybody that's doing any side-to-side activity, pickleball, things like that, you don't want to be high off the ground. So a shoe like this closer to the ground is much better. And if you just feel more comfortable, not so high up, definitely find a shoe that's closer to the ground, whether that's like this Mount to Coast. Some of these Brooks shoes are, again, closer to the ground. And they'll often look like they're higher, but you're not sitting on top of it. You're kind of cradled in it. And that's where we come in and help guide you to shoes that are closer to the ground. Because you're 100% right. The Hokas, sometimes they can feel too high for people.
The other thing I see is that it looks slip resistant, but it's not got too much tread, because sometimes with senior patients, they start to have trouble.
The trip hazard, yes.
Tripping even on carpet, so that's great.
No, 100%. Like this shoe here, it's
a lot more tread.
Yeah, if you're going on a trail or something, great. But yeah, senior patients or any sort of having trouble picking up your feet, you got to be careful of the tread. So that's exactly. Well, there's a lot of different things. The key to finding a good travel shoe is getting properly fit and making sure that it works for you. Try to do it ahead of time. Don't do it the day before you're going. Try to give yourself a good couple weeks so you can break the shoe in. And then of course, if you have any foot issues, getting in to see a doctor sooner than later will help you get diagnosed and figure out what it is. Because some things you think it'll go away, but it doesn't. So that's where you come in and can help figure out what it is.
Well, great. Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah.
All of our patients.
No, thank you.